Hello and welcome, I'm Nikita Kapoor and you're watching the Daily Jagran. In this special segment, I will bring you some of the top stories of the day. Let's begin. Amid a dangerous escalation in hostilities between Israel and Iran, one question is buzzing across diplomatic circles. Where is Ayatollah Khamenei in a region already on the edge? The stakes have risen dramatically in the past 48 hours. Reports from Iran International, quoting high-level diplomatic and intelligence sources, now confirm that Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has been moved to a heavily fortified underground bunker in northeastern Tehran. The move follows a series of unprecedented Israeli airstrikes, some reportedly targeting not just military outposts but also nuclear infrastructure deep inside Iranian territory. And here's what's different this time. The strikes extended as for Mashhad, a city in Iran's northeast, well beyond the usual operational reach of Israeli fighter jets. So where exactly is Khamenei? Sources say the supreme leader is now holed up in a Lavizan, a heavily guarded neighborhood in North Tehran. The underground facility, built with layers of concrete and steel, has been used in the past as well during moments of extreme military threat. And he's not alone. Reports indicate that his entire immediate family, including his son, who is very influential, Mojtaba Khamenei, have been moved to the bunker as well. Mojtaba, often seen as a possible successor, is believed to wield substantial influence in both the military and the clerical hierarchy. The relocation underscores the seriousness with which Iran is treating the current threat. When a supreme leader, the very heart of the Islamic Republic, goes underground, the message is clear. Tehran is bracing for a war, and the warning from Israel is chilling. A senior Israeli official speaking to local media said killing Iranian leaders is not off the table. In fact, as per some reports, eliminating Khamenei was considered on the very first night of the strikes, but was deliberately held back in hopes of leaving space for diplomacy. Interestingly, Donald Trump also opposed Khamenei's assassination. So what happens now? The reality is this: the Israel-Iran conflict, long fought in the shadows and proxies and now cyberspace, is now moving into the open, and the center of the gravity, a man in a bunker, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. His next decision and Israel's response to it may determine whether the Middle East steps back from the brink or plunges into a conflict unlike any it has seen in years. If you thought diplomacy was complex and defense strategy was serious business, Pakistan's defense minister has just added a bizarre new chapter that might belong more in a sci-fi novel or a stand-up routine. Pakistan's defense minister Khawaja Asif is in the spotlight, or shall we say floodlight, for all the wrong reasons. In a jaw-dropping claim inside Pakistan's parliament, Asif boasted that Pakistan's so-called cyber warriors hacked the floodlights of an Indian Premier League 2025 match. Yes, you heard that right. While the world watches cricket for sixes and centuries, Pakistan's defense minister, it seems, is keeping tabs on stadium lighting. One wonders what the strategy was there. Maybe plunge the pitch into darkness and hope Virat Kohli forgets how to bat. But it did not end there. The defense minister also claimed again inside parliament that Pakistani hackers accessed dam waters in India, allegedly opening floodgates during the peak of tensions in May. It's worth noting that these claims come weeks after India launched Operation Sindoor. While India speaks with satellite images and precision strikes, Pakistan's top official is busy counting flickering bulbs and fantasy floods. In geopolitics, credibility is currency. And when bizarre claims start echoing in the halls of power, that too from top leadership, it says more about a nation's state of affairs than any press release ever could. One thing is for sure, when the lights go out in a stadium now, we know who's claiming the credit. Khawaja Asif cyber warriors. Listen in to what Khawaja Asif said in Pakistan's parliament.
ये सारे का सारा जो है इंडिजिनस जो है हमारी टेक्नोलॉजी हमारे बच्चों ने, हमारे जो साइबर वॉरियर्स ने वहां पे जो है स्टेडियम की लाइटें चली गई, आईपीएल बंद हो गया, पानी रिलीज हो गया डैम्स में, ग्रिड बंद हो गए। ये सारी बातें जो हैं, ये सारे हमले जो है, जो साइबर अटैक्स ये थी, ये हमारे बच्चों ने किए, हमारे जवानों ने किए, साइबर वॉरियर्स ने किए। हमें हमें जो है इस फतह के ऊपर जो है तमाम उम्र जो है ता क़यामत जो है फख्र होगा।
Another Boeing 787 Dreamliner, the exact same model that crashed, has raised alarm bells again. An Air India flight bound for Delhi had to make an emergency U-turn and return to Hong Kong mid-air. The reason? A suspected technical snag. Flight AI315, a Boeing 787-8 Dreamliner, had just taken off from Hong Kong on its way to Delhi when the pilot detected a potential technical issue. Acting swiftly, the pilot chose to turn the plane back, a precautionary move, but one that is already triggering fresh questions about the safety of the Dreamliner fleet. And this incident comes just days, mind you, just days after a devastating tragedy in Ahmedabad where a Boeing 787-8 crashed during descent, killing more than 200 people on board. The question that many are now asking is something wrong with this aircraft model? Both planes, the one that crashed in Ahmedabad and the one that turned around in Hong Kong, are part of the Boeing 787 Dreamliner series. These are supposed to be among the most advanced and efficient wide-bodied aircraft in the whole world. But right now, they are becoming symbols of fear, not innovation. Public outrage has intensified against Air India, with families of the Ahmedabad crash victims demanding accountability. Many have accused the airline of ignoring red flags, poor maintenance, lax safety checks. That heart-wrenching question is being echoed by hundreds of families, and now today's incident has only deepened that wound. The Dreamliner model has faced criticism globally. So why is this aircraft still flying? And more importantly, why does Air India continue to operate it without a thorough public safety review? The mourning is still fresh, the funerals are still happening, and yet another Dreamliner had a brush with disaster. Aviation is built on trust, and that trust is now deeply shaken. The big question is, are Dreamliners safe to fly? And how many more close calls will it take before action is taken? For now, Flight AI315 made it back safely to Hong Kong. But what about the next flight? Chilling new details in what was initially believed to be a straightforward contract killing, but is now being described by investigators as a cold-blooded murder plotted not for money but for loyalty. The Honeymoon murder of Indore man Raja Raghuvanshi in Meghalaya, a case that shocked the nation last month, has taken a darker, more disturbing turn. Raja Raghuvanshi was murdered on what was supposed to be a dream honeymoon. But what unfolded in Meghalaya on May 23rd was anything but a dream. Investigators now say this wasn't your typical contract killing. In fact, the three young men who hacked Raja to death with a machete, Vishal, Akash and Anand, did not act out of greed but out of friendship, a favor, a brutal murder carried out for a hefty contract but as a personal service to a friend. And that friend is Raj Kushwaha, the man believed to be the lover of Raja's wife Sonam Raghuvanshi. The two, police allege, conspired to eliminate Raja and make a clean escape. Raja is said to have masterminded the entire operation. Sonam, his alleged girlfriend, and Raja's wife stood by his side even as the plan turned deadly. And the three killers? Not contract killers, as once thought. They were Raja's acquaintances, young men who had no previous criminal record but agreed to help for just 50,000 rupees and loyalty. According to police, that the money was not even a payment, it was merely to cover logistical expenses from Indore to Meghalaya. The conspirators charted their moves carefully. On May 23rd, between 2 p.m. to 2:18 p.m., Vishal, Akash and Anand cornered Raja near the waterfall trail. They attacked him with a machete while Sonam stood and watched. Once dead, they dumped Raja's body into a deep gorge, hoping the remote location would buy them enough time to flee. What we now see is not just a crime of passion, but a chilling example of how love, obsession and blind loyalty can push ordinary people toward extraordinary violence. Sonam, Raj and the three men are now in custody, charged with murder, conspiracy and destruction of evidence. But the investigation continues, and so do the questions. What pushed these young men to risk it all for Raj? Did Sonam manipulate them, or were they all willing participants? And most importantly, was this really just about love? Prime Minister Narendra Modi's high-stake diplomatic mission on the global stage. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has kicked off the second leg of his three-nation tour. After Cyprus, Canada is now the spotlight. At the invitation of Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, Narendra Modi will join world leaders in discussing some of the most pressing global challenges, with a special focus on the priorities of the global south at the G7 summit. But this is not just about the global economy, climate or conflict resolution. This summit is also a crucial platform for resetting bilateral ties with Canada, ties that have seen considerable strain in recent years under the Justin Trudeau government in Canada. On the sidelines of the summit, Modi is expected to hold his first ever meeting with newly elected Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. A political outsider and former central banker, Carney took office in March this year after Justin Trudeau's resignation. Carney has already made his intent very clear, calling the India-Canada relationship a top priority. He has reiterated that again and again, and this meeting could well lay the foundation for a long overdue diplomatic reset. On the table are a range of issues, from establishing a new intelligence sharing mechanism to addressing past instances that have plagued bilateral engagement, like Khalistani activities in Canada. There's also talk of reviving a key agreement. India's Department of Atomic Energy may renew its 2015 deal with Canada for uranium supply. A potential move with strategic and energy implications. Over the next 24 hours, all eyes will be on Canada, where diplomacy, global cooperation, and the future of India-Canada ties will converge. This is all what we have time for in this special segment. For more news and updates, you can subscribe to the Daily Jagran. You can also log on to thedailyjagran.com. Thanks for tuning in. This is Nikita Kapoor signing off.